This is an excerpt from a podcast with host Rob Helt, whose home base is in Texas, talking with his guest Jason Wheatholter, a veteran legal videographer who is today the Chief Executive Officer of the American Guild of Court Videographers. Jason's business is based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is an excerpt lasting 5 minutes where they both talk about the growing market demand that videographers become both videographer and a court reporting agency, a one-stop shop for all related services that only videographers are trained to do: syncing media to the official transcript, consulting for trial purposes, and now, according to these two experts in their field, how to answer the national shortage of court reporters.
Now, what's the Guild doing to lobby to make that a requirement? Well, the short answer is we're doing, quote unquote, nothing to lobby, but we are investigating that.
The Guild is investigating if a videographer can be both videographer and court reporting agency.
Because it is a question that comes up a lot. It's something that we're looking into and just kind of what the process and procedure would be. Because the interesting thing is, and I'm not an attorney, so take everything that I say when it comes to legal opinions with a grain of salt and go consult your own attorney if you have a question. But when I look at the federal rules and then I look at the state rules, I don't see much in the federal rules that requires whoever it is that you're going to be doing a deposition in front of to be certified.
If you are a lawyer constantly in litigation, then I urge you to review the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 30b-4, especially since most states endorse and adopt this rule.
The only real requirement that I come across is that the person needs to be authorized to administer oaths in the jurisdiction in which they're in. Now, state law is a lot different, and I'll give you an example, case in point here in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma,
let me stop you right there. Under the federal rules, the person must be able to administer oaths, which of course means you need to be a notary public. But is that for the videographer, or is that more toward the court reporter?
Well, let me look here.
I think that's going to be a court reporter function, and I don't know, because I, as a videographer, I have sworn somebody in one time in my entire career, and that's since '99. So I don't know, and I agree with what you're saying. I totally agree with where you're going. So,
well, and here's what I mean by that. In the federal rules, in Rule 28A1, it says, in general, within the United States or a territory or insular possession subject to the United States jurisdiction, a deposition must be taken for, capital A, an officer authorized to administer oaths either by federal law or by the law in the place of examination.
Yeah, that's not referring to videographers.
Correct, and it's not referring to court reporters either. That's kind of my point.
That's true, because isn't it true, Jason, that and I don't know if you've seen this or not, but one thing that was happening it started a little bit in Memphis, and we saw some of it over in the eastern side of Arkansas, is two lawyers would stipulate that they weren't going to have a court reporter. They were going to use the video, get the audio from the video transcribed, and one of them just administered the oath because they're an officer of the court.
Yeah, that is happening. It's happening in a lot of places. Trying to think of the guys that I've talked to. I know of one company in Las Vegas that's doing it. One company, I believe, in Massachusetts that's doing it. I think somebody in Florida is doing it.
Check your state rules on civil procedure, and you will find that there is no requirement that only a steno or stenomask reporter must record the deposition, and that this person also be the one and the same individual to prepare the certified transcript.
So that's kind of my point is when it comes to lobbying, we're looking at all these different things, but when it comes to the federal rules, there's nothing that precludes a deposition videographer from actually being the officer. So there's not much lobbying to be done, there because it doesn't require court reporters to be certified anyway. Now, in state rules, it's a lot different.
Jason is wrong here, and that is why he advises to check with a lawyer who practices civil law in the state where you would work as both a videographer and court reporting service. Mind you, if you are recording, in fact, a federal civil action, the federal rules take precedence. They supersede the rules of the state. The federal rules gives you carte blanche.
What the actual title is. But that came about, that part of our laws here in Oklahoma came about because in Arkansas, and Rob, I'm sure you've seen this in Arkansas, they have the steno mask reporters, the voice reporters. So the idea was here in Oklahoma that certified shorthand reporters were the only ones that could do it, which kind of, in a way protected those shorthand reporters' jobs.
Which they should be protected.
Mask reporters. Because mask reporters couldn't come over here and do the work.
Since my contribution to LinkedIn, posting my article on AMVSR LLC and what it can do with ASR Transcriptor, I have had inquiries by several videographers in rural America. Steve, we don't have court reporters, and the law firms here are paying big bucks to have them drive 200 miles from the nearest big city. We think we can do it all for our clients, but we need a company like yours to provide us both with a working rough draft and a final certified transcript. At least, please, get us started.
So state laws are a lot different, and the process for each state is a lot different. So it's kind of a funny little place that we're in. The federal rules don't seem to say anything about precluding a videographer or anybody from handling the oath in a deposition, but the state laws are a lot different, and each state is a lot different. There are some states that have very, very, very specific laws that refer to the videographers and how they need to act. In Oklahoma, the only statute that I'm aware of is a statute where basically it says that in a state action, if one party orders the deposition and notices it with video, then that party that ordered it also has to provide video to the other side. Right. And for a number of years, in fact, that was just changed in the last year or two. For a number of years, it said would provide a copy of the transcript. And so everybody around here would always argue about, well, does that mean a copy of the video as well? Because, they noticed it, they ordered it, I should get a copy of the video too. So that was just changed recently where they added video into the Oklahoma rules. So back to the original question, are we looking? Yeah, we're looking into what it would take to lobby and what it would take to change those rules and procedures. But, looking at it, there are just lots of different things. I mean, there are 50 plus different state legislatures to go through.
I hope this video clip was informative and will encourage you to review your own state rules of civil procedure. But bottom line, when all parties can agree to a procedure, stipulate, no court is going to dictate that you must adhere to outdated and arcane rules.